Okay, so continuing on from the previous video, we're going to look in at more depth into the reports itself and what you can do with it. So let's just go to the wall sections report. Okay, so what we're looking at is the report itself, and this is just a preview. If you want to see what it's actually going to look like when you print it, there's a button here called Print Layout, so you can click on that. And it'll give you a view of what it's actually going to look like when you print it. Okay. You could change the magnification if you want to. So it's just like a regular print preview. One thing to notice, I'll show you how this report is actually laid out. We'll go with whole page, and I'll just go to the first page. So at the top here, we've got the project name, some information in terms of the report, date, etc., who it's prepared by, and then it starts off with the estimate. So for this wall section report, and any type of report, it always starts off with the pro forms. If you have KD forms, it'll add that in there. So it'll only show estimates for what you actually have an estimate for, otherwise it doesn't show up at all. Rebar, stirrups, box concrete, form locks, zip ties, hooks, etc. There's also notes attached to it, so wherever there's the preliminary estimate shows notes, it'll show up here as well. So that's pretty much how it's laid out. So each wall section in this case has a subtotal in terms of material costs, labor, shipping, taxes, etc. And then at the very end of the table or the report, it will show the grand total for everything. And then after that, it does show what the wall gross area is, wall openings, and then the wall net area as well. And then it'll have any additional notes that was entered through this field here when you enter all your data. And that's, oops, and that's where these notes come from. So that's basically how it's laid out. If we go back and get out of the print preview or print layout screen, in this view there's some features that you can do. You'll notice that there's a plus sign. Actually, if I step back a bit, you'll also notice that most of these reports at the headings here in the black border, it will show you what the height and length of the wall section is, just for reference as well. So you'll notice that there's a plus sign beside each of these tables. What that plus sign does, if you hover over it, it should tell you. It basically says you could hide or show notes. So if we didn't want to show notes here because there's nothing there, we can remove it for the Proforms table. So that function is available for each of these tables, as you can see. Okay. Or you can click the minus button and it'll bring it back. Another thing that you could do is if you go to the report options at the top right here, it gives you more flexibility on what you want to hide or show. So if you want to exclude items like rebar, for example, just click on straight rebar and stirrups and it'll remove that from the list completely. If you just want to remove the costs for straight rebar and stirrups, for example, then just click on that instead. Or if you want to remove notes for any of these sections, then you could do it as well. So let's just do stirrups or reinforcement for now, and click OK. As you can see, it's gone from the estimates. So the rebar is removed. It's also removed from the total cost as well. So I can go back in there and unclick it to show it again. And there it is. If I want to show the rebar but not the costs, I can just click in the middle column where it says exclude costs and check those boxes. And it shows the rebar but no costs. And you're still able to remove the notes if you want to. So if there's a bunch of tables where you want to remove the notes, you can just go ahead and click whatever ones you want as well. Okay. And that's pretty much it. So basically whatever you enter here saves it as default for the next time you open this. So I'll just show everything. And I think that's pretty much it. The other thing that you could do at the very bottom, where I show the wall areas, let me just go right to the bottom here. There's also a button here. So if you want to hide the wall area tables, the gross area, openings, and the net area, just click on the plus button and that'll remove it for you. So that won't show up in your report. What else can you do here? Other things that you can do, this is just a refresh button if you want to refresh the calculations or the report for some reason. It might act funny on you and show you an error message saying that it can't print or show the report. You could try clicking the refresh button and that might fix it for you, but it should be okay. So you do have the option to print. You can print it to any printer or save it as a PDF file. We went through the print layout screen. Page setup, that is for typical page setup, however you want to lay it out before you print it. Okay, the other thing that it can do is there is an export button here. So you could export it to Excel, PDF, or Word. Let's say click on PDF. So what it will do is give you a default file name, which is basically the file name that you give the estimator plus today's date. So we could go ahead and click save if that's all we need there. And then go to our folder where we saved it and we can open it and there's the report in PDF. You might also notice there's a logo at the top right, top left here. You could change that to suit your own company, I guess, and it'll default to that every time. So if we exit out of the results window, let's close that. Go back to project info. Under author, if you click on the image here, it'll bring up a window for you where you could choose your own logo, which has to be in JPEG format. So let me just choose something here really quick. Let's choose that one. So it gives you a preview of the logo that's going to be used in the report. So if I click report again, and then go view a report, you'll see that the logo changed. So whatever logo you choose will be your default until you change it next time. Another thing is with the filtered reports, there's also the ability to sort the tables, each table or each column by alphabetical order or by size or quantity, etc. So you do have the option to do that as well for the filtered reports only. And that's I think that's pretty much it for what you can do with the reports. There is one more thing I'm going to talk about, and that's saving, how the estimates are actually saved when it's calculated. And that'll be our next video.